Front and Center. Front and Center. A focus on important and significant developments affecting the lives of Filipinos, not only in the Philippines, but also those living and working around the world. Join us in Front and Center. Front and Center. Here on Radyo Pilipinas World Service.
Good morning to all of our listeners here on Radyo Pilipinas World Service. Welcome to another edition of the program Front and Center, where we put very significant issues affecting our country, the Philippines, as our program title says, Front and Center. On behalf of our colleague Jerome Toledo, I am your host for today, Steph Vicente, joining you all for a 30-minute worth of talk discussing important matters with our government officials, people from the private sector, or even members of the academe. As seen through our video live streaming, you may watch and listen to Front and Center through our Facebook page. Just search Radyo Pilipinas World Service. The same goes for our official YouTube channel. Meanwhile, we also have an audio live streaming thanks to the Evox PBS receiver app. You may download the said mobile application via Google Play Store if you are using an Android phone or via App Store if you are using an iPhone. Once you have entered the Evox PBS receiver app, just find the logo of Radyo Pilipinas World Service in order for you to be able to listen live to our programs such as Front and Center. For today's edition of Front and Center, we are going to talk about the attendance of Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. to the 32nd Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation or APEC Economic Leaders Meeting. It is noted that President Marcos will head for Busan and Gyeongju in South Korea from October 30 to November 2 to attend the APEC Summit, where he is expected to push for stronger trade, innovation, and investment partnerships across the Asia-Pacific. As mentioned in a presser led by Department of Foreign Affairs spokesperson Angelica Escalona, the President's APEC Summit participation is centered on advancing the Philippines' economic interests, forging deeper ties with APEC members, and reaffirming our commitment to APEC's vision for a more open, prosperous, and dynamic Asia-Pacific in a rapidly transforming regional landscape. It is noted that President Marcos recently attended the Association of Southeast Asian Nations or ASEAN Summit and related summits in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, which concluded with the Philippines accepting the ASEAN chairship for the year 2026. DFA spokesperson Escalona also mentioned that the APEC Summit is expected to produce 4 key outcome documents. We will know more about the President's activities in relation to the APEC Summit and his overall stay in South Korea until November 2 when we come back after a few reminders from our station.
Magandang araw, si Ding Dong Dantes po ito. Dahil taon-taon tayong binibisita ng bagyo, kailangang handa tayong harapin ito. Naalala ko si Mami, meron siyang isang envelope kung saan nakatago ang mga importanteng dokumento para madaling kunin at dalhin kapag may bagyo. Ang misis ko naman, may nakahanda palaging emergency go bag na may lamang damit, gamot, pagkain, tubig at pera na kasya hanggang 3 araw sakaling kailanganin namin pumunta sa evacuation center. At syempre, ang toka ko, bago pa dumating ang bagyo, sinisilip ko na kung may mga butas ba yung bubong o ang ibang parte ng bahay na kailangang i-repair. Nakamonitor din ako sa updates ng Pag-asa tungkol sa bagyo. May kanya-kanyang responsibilidad sa bahay para sure na ligtas ang buhay. Dahil, #panatag ang may alam.
Maging panatag Pilipinas.
Front and Center. Front and Center. Here on Radyo Pilipinas World Service.
We are now back here in Front and Center, and I'm your host for today, Steph Vicente. For those who just tuned in, we are currently being aired via our video live streaming on our Facebook page, Radyo Pilipinas World Service. You may also listen via our audio live streaming on Evox PBS receiver app. As mentioned earlier, we will get to know more about the attendance of Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. to the 32nd Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation or APEC Economic Leaders Meeting. In relation to this, we are now joined by our Philippine Ambassador to the Republic of Korea, Her Excellency Bernadette Therese C. Fernandez. Ambassador Fernandez, welcome to Front and Center. This is Steph Vicente of Radyo Pilipinas World Service.
Thank you very much, Ms. Steph Vicente, and to Radio Pilipinas World Service for the interview this morning. And we hope to be able to help you disseminate more information about the President and our government and his participation in this week's APEC Economic Leaders Meeting.
Ambassador Fernandez, it is an honor for us to have you in the program. First of all, what would be the major activities of the President during his stay in South Korea, which will start tomorrow, October 30, 2025?
Okay. As always, the President will put in his first agenda the meeting with the Filipino community. So upon arrival, he proceeds right away to Busan, and then he meets with the Filipino community. The Filipino community in the event will be composed of those coming from Seoul, and then those in the nearby areas, Busan, Ulsan, also Gimhae, and other parts of Korea. So for those coming from Seoul and in the Gyeonggi province, we in the embassy will provide shuttle buses for them. So it's a Thursday, it's quite difficult to gather people around, but because there's so much interest to meet the President, they have made themselves available, and their employers have also allowed them to participate in this activity. And then after that, the next 3 days after October 30, he will proceed with the 2 days of APEC meetings. The first day will be a leaders meeting whereby they will discuss the theme towards a more connected, resilient region and beyond. And then after that, he also has a CEO summit, and the President will also participate in the Philippine-US Business Coalition meeting. And of course, the APEC leaders gala dinner. So the day after, they proceed to what we call the APEC Economic Leaders Meeting Retreat, AELM Retreat, the final meeting for the APEC. And the theme will be preparing a future-ready Asia-Pacific. So after that, he shuttles back to Busan so that he can meet with some business groups and also have the kapihan for media. The visit ends with the last day being his visit to the UN, United Nations Memorial Cemetery in Korea. It's the only one in the world. It's a memorial for those fallen and those veterans who have participated and helped Korea during the Korean War 75 years ago. So there are 22 nations there, and the UN Memorial Cemetery custodian has invited the President to lay wreaths and then to plant a tree and then to commemorate the heroes during the war. So that's it. Looks like a short visit, but actually the days are packed with the activities that the president will participate in and will lead.
Just for regarding the first event, which will be attended by the president, which is the Filipino community meeting there in Busan. Of course, maybe our viewers might be curious about this. How many Filipinos are there in Busan?
I'm going to talk about, Steph, mainly the Filipinos in all of Korea. Because it's difficult to pinpoint exactly how many are in Busan because people move. So when they entered Korea, there may be assignments or jobs in this particular place, but they have since moved. So I'm just going to share with you the total number of Filipinos first in Korea, and then we go down to Busan. So the total number of Filipinos in the whole of Korea would be over 70,000. So from the information from shared with us by the Korean Immigration Service, that will be as of June 2025, a total of 70,266 registered Filipinos. And then, so some of them are in Seoul, some are in Busan and Ulsan, and some other areas in the whole of Korea. So let's go down to demographics, if it's okay with you, Steph.
Yes.
Okay, so around of the 70,000, around 42,000 are in the factories in small and medium sized companies, mostly manufacturing sector. And then they're here under the employment permit system. And then, of course, we have in the agriculture and fishing sector, these are what we call seasonal workers or temporary employment. They're called temporary employment because it's constantly being renewed, and certainly there are a lot of them who are considered important to the companies, so that they always come back and then they're always renewed also. We also have in this number of 42,000, and from the agriculture and fishing sector, the overseas performing artists, we have quite a number of entertainers here, around 1,900. And you also have the university professors, the researchers, students, and those who are here on short-term study, and those who are here on an exchange program, some government to government, some private sector. And then, of course, you have a growing number of interest for those who want to join the film industry, studying in the Busan School for Film. Busan is also, of course, home to the Busan International Film Festival, which is always participated in by our Film Development Council. No? And then we also have the professionals and skilled workers, special education or special occupation workers. And then we also have the private staff and household workers who are employed in the different embassies in Seoul. So that's about it. That's where we are right now.
Ambassador, you mentioned earlier that the president, after the entirety of the APEC summit, will go back to Busan to have meetings with business leaders. Do you have details regarding the sectors that will be given focused on these meetings?
So for the meeting with the U.S. Business Council, it's a meeting with top officials of U.S. manufacturing firms. Exactly the names and the numbers, I don't have them right now. I don't have the final list. Apart from that, of course, there is also meetings with the Korean companies. So maybe they will discuss possible investments in the Philippines, maybe also possibly components or parts that we can provide, we can export. So those things, the details of which will be firmed up by our Department of Trade and Industry. So APEC is mainly trade and investment, but a lot will take place. For example, he will be alongside leaders of other economies. So there will be opportunities for the president to meet and discuss things with the group of leaders as well as to individual leaders.
For now, currently, of course, prior to this APEC summit, what are the sectors for the Philippines and South Korea bilateral relations? What are the sectors being focused on with the current state of bilateral relations between the Philippines and South Korea?
Okay, so just to give a background, last year, towards the end of the year, sometime in October, the Philippines and Korea had this strategic partnership. So with that, that means enhancement in trade and investment, enhancement in defense cooperation, enhancement also in people-to-people and exchanges, and mostly the overall conduct of relations. So we are at that stage when the Philippines and Korea affirmed its very, very long cooperation and elevated it to a higher level. So if you imagine, Steph, we are in 1949 the fifth country that recognized Korea as a nation. And we are also one of the first who sent our troops to Korea when they had this Korean War 75 years ago. So that much we find ourselves in a very good standing relationship with Korea. When you speak about the Philippines here in Korea, everybody, even the normal people on the street, recognizes the Philippines as one of those who helped them build this nation. So we take that as an opportunity for us to gain a greater standing for the Philippines and for the Filipino people.
And with regards to what you have just mentioned, what would it mean? What could be what could we look to the future after the president, of course, visited the UN Memorial Cemetery in Korea due to just what you have mentioned?
So with the UN Memorial Cemetery's visit of the president, it will be a very solemn visit. He wanted to visit the place because, again, it's the only one in the world. Second, it's a memorial where many of the those who contributed, soldiers who contributed in the war, are what do you call this? Memorialized. And then we also have while there are no Filipinos buried there, we have their names in a memorial wall. So some of their names are there. So if you think about it, there were several times that we sent our troops there, of which there was a total of around 7,400 Filipino soldiers who helped in the war. So yeah, that is with regard to the final visit in the UN Memorial Cemetery before he proceeds back to the Philippines.
Um, Before I let you go, Ambassador, we would just like to get your final message for our viewers and listeners of this program, Front and Center. Most especially, I guess, for since Radyo Pilipinas World Service is a government radio station which caters to the interest of Filipinos working and living abroad. What would be in regards to this visit of the President for the APEC Summit? What would be your final message for our kababayans, especially those who are working and living there in South Korea?
Steph, may I speak in the vernacular? May I speak in Tagalog so that many will understand?
I'm sure, go ahead.
Also. So, gusto ko lang sabihin sa mga kababayan natin dito sa Korea na lagi namang inuuna ng presidente pag landing niya sa ibang bansa yung pagbisita or opportunity or pagkakataon na makita yung mga Filipino. Makapanayam kayo, maitanong kung kumusta ang kanilalagyan ninyo. So that is first and foremost important to him. I will not share the two important things that the president will say during the Filipino community yet. It's a surprise, but it's for all of them. So abangan na lang natin, Steph, kung ano yon sa presidente na manggagaling yon. And other than that, he is here to participate in the APEC process because he is very concerned about development of the Philippines. So the theme of the Korean hosting of the APEC is prosperity for the Asia Pacific region in general, no? So yung ikauunlad ng ating region where 40% of the world's GDP happens. So ang pinakatema actually nito is connect, innovate, and prosper. So sa paanong paraan, the outcome documents, kanina binanggit mo, Steph, yung 40 outcome documents, no? That is a product of a whole year's preparation from sectoral meetings, senior officials meetings, trade or economic ministers meeting, and finance ministers meeting, and then on to the leaders meeting. So pinag-aralan lahat yan, ano? Tapos magkakaroon ng final outcome document. Apart from those final documents, meron siyang standalone documents, especially for this particular leaders meeting. Number one is the Artificial Intelligence Initiative of the APEC, where they will discuss the AI as a transformative force in development worldwide. Number two document will be the collaborative framework for demographic changes. So the APEC process is mindful and acknowledges the fact that demography or a movement of people or changes will affect the region. And then number three document will be the what we call cooperation in cultural initiatives and creative industries. So ito na yung mga K-pop, yan, no? So how it folds into the whole scenario of the Asia Pacific economy. So just wanted to say that the president works very hard for the Philippines, and when he invites people to invest in the country, he always says, we are not only ready, we are also reliable. So that says it all about the Philippines and about the president's readiness to invite and help businesses settle well in our country. Thank you very much, Steph.
Thank you also, Ambassador Fernandez, for joining us here in the program. Until next time, at mabuhay po kayo.
Mabuhay po.
And we are just joined by our Philippine Ambassador to the Republic of Korea, Her Excellency Bernadette Therese C. Fernandez. She just mentioned earlier that there would be a surprise or there would be surprise statements that will be delivered by Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. during the Filipino community meeting tomorrow, October 30. So we are looking forward to that. At this point, we will be ending today's edition of Front and Center. We would like to thank first our technical team composed of Milo Jonella, Susan Aison, Hiro Lucero, and Justine Osias, who made this program possible. We would also like to express our gratitude to our OJTs, Will and Greg, for assisting us in the past few days and also today. Thank you as well to our station manager, Mr. Ray Sampang. Until the next episode of Front and Center, on behalf of Jerome Toledo, this has been your host for today, Steph Vicente. Good day and stay safe, everyone.
You have just heard and watched Front and Center. Front and Center. Join us again for another edition here on Radyo Pilipinas World Service. Front and Center.